You and I are about to review actual surveillance footage of true stories filmed live, documenting the raw heartbreak and pain caused by a lover's brutal infidelity. This investigation is dedicated to the faithful and serves as a warning to the false-hearted, to inspire their necessary renewal of temperance and virtue. Coming up on tonight's dramatic episode of Cheaters, the victim screamed, "This was garbage," outside a local taco joint. He screamed, asking what she was doing. He cried that she took his virginity before demanding she get away. This real reality television is brought to you by Cheaters Private Eyes, only on Cheaters. Welcome back to the absolute train wreck that comprises tonight's episode. Our first cheating case introduces Nate Hunt, a general contractor burdened with some very deep concerns regarding his girlfriend's shady recent behavior. Nate visited our studio, desperate for help in securing real answers. Nate told us he and Winter had been dating for 6 months after first meeting online. He recalled that when they first started seeing each other, he didn't mind stepping up and paying a stray bill for her here and there. The contractor simply wanted to make sure he kept a happy smile on her face. Buying that smile made him feel absolutely fantastic. He treated her to the finest restaurants, dining at upscale places and hitting all the popular downtown clubs. He even scored tickets to the very best concerts. But recently, Nate decided to stop paying quite as much. When she asked for expensive things, he finally started saying no, which he never used to do. That's exactly when Nate noticed a serious problem brewing whenever he dared to say no. Winter used to visit him almost every single day, but suddenly that routine dramatically shifted. She dropped by every 4 days, or even less frequently. You and I both know something wasn't quite right here. Seeing her constant affection suddenly drop off a cliff naturally left him wondering about the harsh reality. He needed to know exactly what was going on. It strongly seemed like someone else was suddenly occupying Winter's free time. Enter Winter Danielson, age 36, an unemployed woman heavily suspected of abusing her boyfriend's endless goodwill. Fully informed by Nate on the disturbing particulars of this case, our Cheaters investigators stake out the suspect's quiet residence. Sometime later, a completely unknown vehicle slowly approaches her building. The suspect, Winter Danielson, eagerly races out to the waiting car. Our investigators shadow the small car until its sneaky occupants finally arrive at a local pizza parlor. The suspect and her new dinner date enter the busy joint. Nate confessed that he and Winter used to be intimate almost every single day, but recently she completely cut him off. While anyone has the right to say no, the sudden freeze felt incredibly suspicious after such a constant, passionate history. On the very rare occasions they were actually intimate, he claimed the spark was totally gone. The connection was dead, almost like she was fantasizing about another man. Whenever Nate tried confronting Winter about these mounting intimacy issues, she would carelessly blow off his growing concerns. She also apologized frequently to keep him pacified. She gave him just a tiny bit of substance by offering those weak, empty apologies. But then she'd simply promise to make it up to him later, leaving Nate totally guessing. The makeup never comes. It's almost like I'm just not that important to her anymore. Now let's observe the suspect and her pizza partner snag a table outside to grab a bite. Sitting side by side, the frisky couple enjoys their meal. With their dinner finished, the younger couple races back to the unknown man's car. A cheater's team follows the two back to the suspect's place. Suspect Danielson and her dining buddy pause for a bit of frolic. Danielson and the unknown male disappear inside. After a significant amount of time, agents spot the unknown man as he leaves for the night. I've never given myself like this in the past to anybody else, and I'm giving myself to her. But I love her. I don't want this to be it. I want my future to be with her. It's almost like she stabbed me in the heart. Like she's just gouging me. Well, I hope I'm wrong. I'm not going to make that conclusion yet until I know for sure. Let's see what happens as the stakeout continues. After some time, the unknown man from our previous surveillance, now identified as Cam Franklin, arrives. Danielson greets her suitor with an intimate hug. The suspect enters Franklin's car, and away they go, followed by a trailing cheaters operative. The illicit pair drives to a fast food restaurant. Sometime later, Danielson and Franklin exit the eatery. The young gentleman proves his gallantry by holding the door for his sweetheart. Cheaters follows closely as the pair returns to Danielson's home. Franklin escorts the suspect to the gate. Her suitor nods goodnight, climbs into his car, and ends the night's surveillance. Spotting a clear pattern, Cheaters detectives stay on the suspect's residence. Sometime later, Danielson waits outside of the building. Now, Franklin arrives. The young man ferries his date across town to a department store, holding hands. The suspect and her clandestine beau cross the parking lot to the entrance. Sometime later, Danielson and Franklin emerge from the store. As they cross the lot to the vehicle with wares in hand, the conniving couple share a few laughs. Danielson climbs into her consort's vehicle. Franklin whisks the suspect away. Cheaters' agents tail the deceitful duo back to the suspect's abode. Franklin escorts his illicit girlfriend to the entrance. The man follows her into the building like a puppy chasing a bone. Sometime later, with a spring in his step, Franklin leaves the apartment. Cheaters' operators collate all the evidence for presentation to an anxious Nate. Coming up, the final infidelity confrontation. Now that his fears are confirmed, let's watch them pull the distraught boyfriend in for a briefing to reveal the brutal evidence. He is terrified of the footage, but demands the truth. Nate decides to face the harsh reality. Nate, I know you have a lot racing through your head today, so we are just going to cut right to the chase. Can you tell me a little bit about what has been going on lately with Winter? Yeah, met her a while back. Things were great at first, but now they are definitely changing. I rarely see her anymore. You know exactly why we are here. Right. Our private investigation is wrapped up. Are you fully prepared to see what we uncovered? I guess so, yeah. Fair enough. On this day of surveillance, Nate, we are staked out near Winter's house and watch as this black vehicle pulls up. Winter hops right into the passenger seat. They pull away and hit a local pizza joint. They stroll inside. He has his arm wrapped around her, and they grab some pizza. They step outside to enjoy their meal. Take a good look. Do you recognize this guy at all? No clue who he is. After finishing up their lunch, they head back to his car, leave the pizza spot, and he drives her straight back to her house. A bit later, after walking Winter to the door, the guy gets into his car and leaves. Let's jump to the next surveillance tape. We are back outside Winter's house. A little while later, that same vehicle, with the exact same guy, pulls up. Our tracking team tails them to a fast food spot. That is when we spot Winter stepping out with him. Right about then, she gets a call. Nate hears the secret audio from that conversation. You are on the phone with Winter. Tell me if you remember this exact chat, all right? Hello. Hey, what is going on? I'm getting ready to step out real quick. How are you? I'm good. I was just hoping to hang out with you. Would you want to see a movie or go out to eat soon? We can definitely get together soon. Does not sound very optimistic, does it? When can we do this? I will call and let you know. Yeah, all right. We will do that. Fine. Enjoy your day. So you remember that? Yeah, she claims that is her friend. Yeah, exactly. You recall that exact conversation? Yeah, she always tells me. It is just her girlfriend. Right. So seeing this video, how does it make you feel? It absolutely pisses me off. The two of them walk out together, drive for a few miles, and head back to her place. Both of them stroll inside together. Then he gets in his car. He finally left Winter's house. Let's hop in the vans with the television crew, call the lead investigator, and see exactly where this chase takes us. It was time to confront the cheating pair. The team geared up and headed out. Suddenly, a call came through from the private detective. The host answered. The couple was sitting together at a local taco joint. The crew told the detective to send their driver the address. The targets were waiting right inside. The camera team prepared to storm in. Nate mumbled that the other guy was cheap. They spotted their private eye on sight and braced themselves. The host reminded Nate they were there for answers despite the mess. Nate agreed. It was time for everyone out. They rushed inside. Winter screamed, demanding to know who invited these absolute jerks. Total chaos erupted as she yelled at them to stop. She angrily asked Nate what was wrong. She shouted that she didn't even know who the camera crew was. Winter shoved past the cameras, desperately telling them to completely back off. The host asked Winter for a minute. She cried foul. She demanded to know why they were there playing completely dumb. She insisted the man was just a friend. Nate demanded the truth. As she kept deflecting, the host pointed straight at the gentleman sitting across the table. He asked Winter to step aside. No, the host introduced himself. Nate had hired the show because Winter was very obviously spending lots of time with this guy. She aggressively defended her friend. You and I both know friends don't act like that. The conclusion approaches. They were caught red-handed at a taco joint. Total disaster. Winter just kept screaming and cursing, completely losing her mind over the ambush. She swore he was just a buddy invited for dinner. The host calmly turned to the other man for answers. He asked the stranger if he even knew who Nate actually was. The poor guy swore he had absolutely no clue who Nate was. That was her boyfriend, the guy she dated for a year. The stranger was stunned. Winter had lied to him entirely. The revelation hit hard. She took his virginity. He realized he had been played. She took his virginity, and he angrily demanded to know why she lied. She had promised him the world, but her lies unraveled incredibly fast. She really took that man's virginity. Absolute shock. The host suggested Winter might want to start explaining herself. She panicked, waving her hands around and refusing to say a word. Winter begged them to leave her alone, calling the whole ambush completely weird. The host just wanted to show her the hard evidence, urging her not to run away. She desperately tried to flee, screaming at the cameras and asking why they kept following her. We just watched the truth come out. She really took that poor guy's virginity right there. You and I are watching it unfold. He claimed she promised care, but called her a gold digger. She demanded if their time meant nothing, begging him to stop and explain this deeply embarrassing situation. The investigator pressed for answers, finally stepping in and introducing himself to the chaotic scene as Cam. He warned Cam he wouldn't tolerate the nonsense, loudly reminding the victim that this woman took his virginity and lied. She cruelly mocked him, noting that his cash had completely run dry. He branded her a selfish taker, but she fired back, swearing she sacrificed all her precious time. Exactly. Things got deeply personal as he demanded everyone get out of his face, refusing to back down. Someone yelled to stop aggressively taunting him about the little boy. The threats escalated fast. Panic set in as someone actually pulled a sword. The crew could hardly believe what they were seeing. People frantically scrambled back, screaming for him to just stay away. Suddenly, a taser was drawn out too. Security rushed in. They tried to evacuate. The violent aggressor roared for some physical space. The frantic crew pleaded. He screamed about his privacy being invaded, shoving the crew back while yelling to drop the buzzing taser before someone grabbed it. The taser finally neutralized the immediate physical threat. Let's unpack this chaotic scene together. The investigator told her that the young victim actually knew her true motives from the very beginning. She angrily claimed that he had firmly promised to support her. Someone noted that they had only slept together a single time. It was his first time, which she completely brushed off. She fiercely defended herself, screaming that he kept secrets too, and angrily asking why she had to explain absolutely everything. The host called the situation crazy, suggesting that without trust, simply walking away was the only logical and sensible move. The television crew questioned their judgment, asking how the two of them initially met. They awkwardly admitted to meeting online at first, a dating platform. It was just another classic internet romance tragedy. The investigator suspected this was just her usual manipulative routine. The victim cried out his hatred for her, and the site devastated by her fake love, while she stubbornly denied breaking the young guy's heart. The camera stayed rolling as the host politely asked for her side, prompting the heartbroken victim to yell out that he spent thousands keeping her completely happy. A friend stepped in bluntly, revealing he dropped over $10,000. The devastated young man confessed he developed deep feelings and genuinely wanted a real relationship. She coldly shot back that he simply could not afford her luxurious lifestyle. The crowd gasped, learning he blew 10 grand in under 6 short months. The gold digger accusations flew. The host stood utterly stunned, openly admitting he was at a loss for proper words. She mocked the victim for bringing a camera crew, claiming he only did it because he lacked the courage to confront her by himself. She raged at the hiring of a random television host, loudly declaring that she never consented to being filmed by all these invasive cameras. Dismissing the host entirely, she aggressively asked if his name was Nate. She relentlessly insulted his name, screaming for everyone to get out of her personal space. Panic spiked again when someone realized the taser had suddenly vanished. They ruthlessly taunted each other. Chaos erupted as they tried to intervene, with someone screaming not to break up the violent fight. "So what do you and I make of this?" The host reminded the victim that the next step was completely his choice. Someone asked if they got all their answers. "Yeah, keep doing that." "Hey, stop," they yelled. "All right, let's go. You ready?" "Let's go." "No, let's go," she demanded. "We're going to my car." "When you apologize." "Okay, I'm sorry, let's go. It's not worth it, seriously," he muttered. "Yeah, right. Wait, you have pepper spray? What? You ready?" "Yeah, all right, let's go." "Hop in." "All right, let's load up." Following his brutal relationship drama, Nate weighs his remaining options. Later on, the television show reveals his next move. Stick with me here. Next, Rashada Greer breaks down her shocking arrest. It started the evening she caught her man cheating. Rashada admitted that after seeing the infidelity footage, she felt he needed to face her wrath. She just had to get her hands on him. In that explosive moment, she didn't care who was watching or filming her meltdown. She just lost control. She desperately needed him to feel the exact same betrayal she felt. The pain she experienced watching that tape fueled her rage. "Really?" she screamed. "This is the kind of stuff I get? Really?" "What do you got going on? What are you doing, man?" "Hey, this is what I get," she yelled. "Calm down, for real." "For real? No, what do you mean it's not what it looks like?" She screamed at his lies. Looking back, Rashada confessed her raging emotions completely took over. She never imagined she would get violent, but she ended up hitting him that night. Cops were patrolling the area, and she obviously got into serious legal trouble. She felt trapped in that terrible situation. While dealing with that messy public scandal, she truly assumed her boyfriend Nick would step up and handle things properly. She honestly thought he would at least be there for her and offer some support, but he wasn't. She had to rely entirely on the show's crew. They were the only ones there to genuinely support and protect her. Rashada realized right then that guy wasn't getting another chance. But reality hit hard. An officer shouted, "You're under arrest for assault." "Did you bring all this bull into it?" "That's enough. Shut up." "I work here," someone argued. "We've got more." "Oh, you do?" "Yes, we have more cameras and another." "All right," the cop interrupted. "Let's take care of this one." Sitting in a cell, Rashada realized Nick just wasn't her guy. As she sat there pondering her chaotic life choices, she knew she never should have been in that awful situation. No relationship should cause massive problems that end with her sitting behind bars in jail. Spending even one night locked up was a wake-up call. Fast forward to today. Rashada is happily dating someone new, and he treats her incredibly well. There is absolutely no drama, no more cheating scandals or weird behavior. Her new man treats her right. She doesn't have to deal with toxic fights or trips to the county jail anymore. She is genuinely happy and finally in a peaceful place. Back to Nate Hunt. After dropping his ex-girlfriend, he feels somewhat relieved despite the pain. Nate bluntly confessed to the cameras. "Well, at least she won't be taking any more of my hard-earned money." "What do you and I make of this?" Nate is just grateful the show helped him. When questioned by the cheater's producers, suspect Winter Danielson spoke openly about her role in the scandalous affair. Let's unpack this. Danielson admitted using Nate for cash, taking tips from strippers. She frankly confessed she was only after the cash in his wallet. The suspect admitted she absolutely did it for the money, claiming that was what the entire relationship was about. She viewed it purely as what she could get for what she was giving him. Her companion, Ken Franklin, could only wince at his grim, heartbreaking situation. He claimed he could not believe she would do this after he gave her everything. And now it is all gone. Franklin has since cut off all contact with the cheating suspect. Cheating truly is a terrible crime. He confessed his heart was completely broken. You and I know if you skip getting your programming from Goldstein's, well, we both lose money.